Hello, everyone, and welcome to an Impossible Creatures replay commentary. It's your host, B-Champ, and I am here with a quick 1v1 of me versus Steve. I will have a disclaimer. This is Steve's first time playing online in a little bit because his internet has been really bad. This was actually just a game to test out his internet, and it ended up working fine. The connection was great, so I hope to see a lot more of Steve so we can continue our rivalry matches. Currently, our rivalry before this game was 2-2. We were tied at 2 games apiece. I am down here in the green, and Steve is up here in the red. And so here, one thing that I'm always worried about when I play on Cenote is this coal pile right here. So this coal pile over here is relatively safe, and it's not nearly as contested as this one, since this is closer to the middle. And so what I'm afraid of is if your opponent places a creature chamber right around this area and is able to quickly get units to take control of this these coal stacks, take control of this geyser, this middle geyser, and possibly even this geyser over here, then you're kind of out of luck in terms of resources. While your opponent is free to expand over the rest of the map, you're cut off in this one choke point unless you have amphibious units that are able to protect any henchmen that are moving around. So with that in mind, you can see some of the strategy that I take. So as I am starting to research level 2, I'm first looking to get resources over here and establish a workshop, but soon after that I'm going to want to get my creature chamber up here first, so I can make sure to take control of my these coal piles over here, as well as the pathway to this geyser. So you can see Steve, he's actually going for the contested coal first to establish a presence here, while I went to this coal pile over here first. And he's scouting around. First he comes down here because this is a common area for people to put proxy chambers or forward creature chambers to start an attack. And then he actually sends his henchman up here to himself as a creature chamber. And so this is actually just outside of my sight radius right now. I built my creature chamber along with 2 units and a sound beam tower. The moment I get my sound beam tower up, its sight radius can see just barely the edge of this creature chamber. Once I notice that, I send in my units to try to not let him build up an early lead. And so you can notice here that he is using these zebra frogs with the zebra torso. They have high endurance, great speedy unit, 30 speed, but 86 health does not really compare to 101 health and regeneration. And he only has 7 damage compared to me over here. I'm doing 9 damage. And the thing about speedy units is you want to take advantage of that speed, because you're paying for high endurance, you're paying for the speed, but if you're not using it, like you are in like this situation, then it's a little bit harder, because speedy units aren't as great for direct ranged attack. They're great though, however, at getting out of the way of artillery attacks and retreating quickly from artillery attacks. You can see some of the things that I'm trying to do is when I see artillery attacks coming in is avoiding some of those attacks with my units just by running away as I see the rock flying through the air, or the artillery attack flying through the air. And in the meantime, I'm still trying to build henchmen. I notice that I'm low on electricity, so I'm building a lightning rod here, so I can keep producing, because I have here 2 expos, one here, one here. Steve only has 1 expo right now, but he is ahead of me on electricity. He has this geyser, 2 lightning rods, and then going for another geyser right here. I'm finally getting this geyser set up. Still only 3 rods. And he's starting to overwhelm me a little bit with creatures. And I think here he might go in too prematurely, and he's not really attacking the sound beam tower as much. Sending 1 unit over here just to die. Again, these zebra frogs one-on-one don't match up with my zebra chameleons, and so that was just going there to die, and now this unit's going to regenerate. And so even though he had that big overwhelming advantage there with units, I did build a second creature chamber, which helped, and the soundbeam tower helped a lot. Do not discount soundbeam towers on how much they can work for you defensively in a match. And now I have 2 creature chambers, and I have 2 expos running, as well as getting another generator. I'm destroying one of Steve's generators, which is making me feel pretty good. About to destroy this creature chamber. He's queued up a lot of units here. You should have seen earlier he queued up almost the entire queue of units, where really I think it would have been better for him to build an additional creature chamber so he could pump out those units faster. And at this point, I'm feeling pretty good. I've sent my ranged units over here to attack his generator, and then to attack his henchman, disrupt his economy a little more, solidify the lead that I'm starting to gain. And I keep pumping out units at both creature chambers. And so finally he's coming back down, trying to build here. Also, one thing you should note on Cenote is that when you spawn henchmen at this workshop here, there's a good chance that they'll go to the small coal piles and not these coal piles over here. And so you'll actually have a lot of them trying to crowd around these coal piles, leading to inefficient coal production. So that was slowing him down, as well as the fact that he just doesn't have this workshop over here. And then at this point, I think Steve messages me good game, so he knows that it's going to be very, very hard for him to come back, especially as I'm building chambers closer and closer to his base, bringing in henchmen. It's always a good idea when you're up or behind in any attack, if you can spare the resources, bring henchmen with you, and building creature chambers closer or building soundbeam towers closer to the base are great methods of offense. And so here I'm building a soundbeam tower as he is building a few creature chambers, now doing the double chamber method in order to pump out units faster. But at this point, I definitely have an overwhelming advantage. Even though these units are more expensive, they are very powerful. They have regeneration. They're probably some of the best level 2 units in the game right now. And you can see Steve just blowing up his own creature chambers. The game's over here. And that's it. That's the game. So if there's a few takeaways, it's that make sure that when you're going with an army that you have a good plan to use them. So in this case, it was kind of Steve did have a very good plan going in with a rush with fast units. So he was trying to rush me. But in this case, I happen to have my units, which are great defensive units, being able to retreat and regenerate, even though they're very expensive, to sit behind and still be able to take out his attack. And so yeah, that's it. I hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching.